I've always wondered how electricity is actually made, so I decided to make my own generator to see if I could make some myself. And I didn't really know much about them to begin with, and I was just kind of curious to see if I could make something that actually works. And the two things I knew to start with was that the generators use a lot of copper, and copper's quite expensive, so I found some old copper wires and tried to take the copper out of that. Don't do this, never do this. I spent 2 days stripping, cutting and untangling wire, and I was barely left with anything. So if you're doing this, just buy a roll of copper. Turns out the way generators work is they get a copper coil and a magnet, and they move the magnet across the face of the coil as fast as possible. This creates an electric current within the coil. And to create the copper coils, I first 3D printed these little disc things so that all I would need to do is just wrap the copper wire around them and I'd have my coils. I did this 12 times and then took all these coils and added them to this spiderweb looking frame thing, which will have a bearing at its centre as the coils are actually stationary and it's the magnets and the central shaft that actually rotate. Then I went and found some magnets that were fairly cheap and fairly strong. Or at least they're strong enough to hang off anything metal, even still in the box. And if they get too close to each other, they can tear themselves apart. So I used this disc to keep them in the right orientation, which is quite important, as each coil will have 2 magnets next to each other. So it's very important that the magnetic field of each individual magnet is in the right orientation, as if they're not and they're slightly off, then this can have quite a big effect on the voltage produced. But it was kind of difficult because they were all on this just one big clump, and trying to get one off at a time was kind of hard. And what I was trying to do was trying to get the top of the magnet to alternate from north-south, north-south. Then I had to just wire up all of the coils together into like one system, and I kind of did this before I knew what I was supposed to be doing, so I just cut these little sections of wire so I could connect each coil that was next to each other. And I had to strip all these wires, which turns out I'm quite bad at. And I found out that this just wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't supposed to connect each adjacent coil, as the current generated by the generator has 3 individual phases. But to explain this, you kind of need to know how the magnets move with respect to the coil, and what that means for voltage. So I created this graph with time on one axis and voltage on the other. And the way this works is when the magnets first pass over the coil, let's say they're in position 1 at the moment, their magnetic fields are creating a current within the coil, but in this orientation they're creating an anti-clockwise current, whereas when they move along and they move across the coil, let's say they're now in position 2, they're now creating a clockwise current because the magnetic fields are the other way round. And as the magnets keep on rotating and pass through position 1, where it creates a positive voltage, moving to position 2, where it creates a negative voltage. And this keeps happening and keeps on creating this oscillating current. Alternating current. But this is only single phase. To create a smooth positive current, 2 additional phases are added. And to create 3 phases, I had to create 3 individual groups of coils, which means I have 3 groups of 4 coils, each wired in series. But this makes wiring quite difficult, as the wire needs to first pass into the centre of one coil, where the electricity is carried from the centre around to the outside of the coil, and then from the outside of the first coil it needs to pass to the inside of the second coil. Then the electricity is carried through that coil and moves on to the next coil, and so on and so on. So there's quite a lot of wires just twisting their way about, which means I need to solder, which I've never actually done before. It is kind of just like welding on a really small scale. It's not that difficult in comparison, but it takes a little while to get the hang of. And this now should be creating a 3-phase AC current, but I want a DC current, which means I need to use these. They're tiny little magic boxes called diodes that only allow current to flow in one direction. And if you arrange 6 of them in this sort of shape, you can ensure that a positive voltage is always supplied by taking the maximum of the 3-phase flow, creating a relatively smooth DC voltage, which in the real world looks something like this. With each wire supplying one phase. And now I should have all the stuff I need, which includes 2 pieces of wood with a couple bearings in them as the frame, the set of 12 coils all wired together, 2 discs filled with all of the magnets, the 3-phase bridge rectifier, and a keyed shaft which is attached to the discs with magnets. And the way that everything sort of goes together is that the keyed shaft sits within a bearing within the frame, and then the first disc of magnets is slid onto this key so it rotates with the shaft. Then all of the copper coils are added, which can sit on the shaft as there's a ball bearing at the centre. And then on the other side of this, the second disc of magnets is added, so that on each side of the copper coil there's a magnet. But it was around this point that everything started to fall apart, which was kind of seen in the first test as I connected the bridge rectifier up to all of the coils and used a voltmeter to measure the voltage that it produced. But after spinning it just by hand, it produced no volts at all, like 0.01 volts at best. And at first I didn't really know why it wasn't working. I didn't know why the voltage was so low, but I kind of figured it wasn't going to be the coils and it wasn't going to be a broken circuit because at least it was reading something. So it probably had something to do with the magnets, which I then tested with a bit of paper and some old iron shavings, which if I'm honest, it didn't really tell me much. I assumed that I would be able to see the magnetic field and that would tell me something. I don't really know what I was looking for, just I know this isn't helpful. But then I realised, because the way they were all sucked together in one big clump, that the magnetic field might not be orientated the way I thought it was. As I kind of assumed, because the only sort of experience I've had with magnets is those little red and blue ones you get when you're a kid, that north and south would be at either ends. But that might not be true, so I decided to test them in the same sort of way you would test a compass. I got a plate and filled it with some soapy water, and then put the magnet in a little dish so that it would all float on top of the water. And when I lay it down flat and spun the little dish, it wouldn't point north, it would just spin in any random direction. But when I set it up on its edge and spun it round, it orientated itself north-south, meaning that all of the magnets I'd added were in the complete wrong orientation. And the polarity actually looks like this, which was confirmed when I went round and tested the polarity of each of the magnets, and they were just all the same. So I ended up removing every single magnet and then putting them back in, making sure that every time I put in a magnet, the next one I would flip over like a pancake. And once I had 2 new discs of magnets, I then tested the polarity, making sure that the magnets would alternate from attracting to repelling to attracting to repelling. I also then had the idea to increase the speed of the rotations by using a hand drill. But this did snap the shaft instantly. So I went back to just spinning it with my hands. I also then tried to test just one coil at a time to see if there was actually any issues with the circuit itself by connecting the voltmeter at the input and output of one coil, which did actually seem like it was producing a modest amount of volts, until I realised I was measuring millivolts. So this was actually quite a bit worse. And from here, I think there's 3 main reasons why the voltage is so low. First is the magnet strength, the second is the spacing between the magnets and the coils, and the third is the speed, the RPMs, the rate at which the magnets pass the coils. But I'm not entirely sure, so I decided to first test the strength of the magnets by seeing how much force it requires to lift a magnet off of a metal tray, which it topped out at 674 grams. And then I tried to measure how far away the magnets and the coils were when I was spinning the discs. And ideally this should be as small as possible, maybe even a 1 or 2 millimeters. But this is a little bit more than that, and when I spin the disc it keeps on catching because this tangled bird's nest of wires pushes the magnets even further away, something more like 1 to 2 centimeters rather than millimeters. And throughout all of these tests I have just been using my hand to turn the generator, which isn't very good, it's a very low RPM. But theoretically, if I just spin it fast enough, it should solve all my problems.